Hey guys, Beast here, and I've been getting a couple of questions on my Instagram as well as on the YouTube about the time lapses that I've been doing. Now, I started doing time lapses on the old FZ1000. It's easy because Panasonic has built-in time lapse features. So you can basically tell, just like a GoPro or some of the newer cameras, a lot of them are coming with the built-in features of time lapses. So you can set up your pictures and how long you want to do it and how many photos you want to take. It's pretty easy, and I'm not going to go into that because I'm sure there's lots of folks out there that are going to explain it. The other nice thing about Panasonic is it'll actually render all those photos into a video file. So then, one, I can just erase all the photos. So while I'm traveling, that doesn't take up space on a USB. I'm not backing up 1,000 photos for the nighttime shot. Whether or not you're getting a full advantage of that, because you can go into things like Lightroom and Photoshop and you can adjust all 1,000 images. So you can kind of bring out the contrast, etc., etc. Most of the time, 95% of the time, I just don't have the time or the capacity to do it while I'm traveling. So to have it all in camera is great. Now, I'm still filming with the Gx8, so I'm using the FZ1000. The nice thing is they both take the exact same battery. So enter in this little guy, and I'll put links down below. It's still got a bunch of desert sitting on it. It wasn't terribly cheap, but I absolutely love the form factor and how it does it. Now, the secret is it's going to give you essentially a fake battery with a little coupler here that'll go to this battery pack, and it's just as easy as popping out this battery. And even both Panasonics have the cabling set up. So on the FZ1000, I can really run the cables out the back. On the Gx8, there's a similar hole here in the battery. So you can go flat again, you can run out the cable, and then that cable is merely going to plug in to the side of this battery pack. Now, the battery pack does have kind of a cold shoe on it. I will tell you, if I screw it all the way in, you're going to see a green light. Couple caveats and some of the changes I made with this. I'll put in a quick photo. In fact, I'm going to use that FZ1000 because it's got a great macro mode. But I'm going to show you what I did to the tail cap here. And this camera won't focus in that tightly, but for some reason on the inside of the cap, this had threads. So I merely ground down all the inside threads. And then I also took off the little bobber here that was at the end. And what that enabled me to do is to run protected cells. Well, we're just going to keep this in the video, guys. This is very unusual. It's still functioning. However, it's got an unusual sort of bursting going on. So I might not run this cell any longer. But anyhow, the battery pack in here wasn't designed for the protective cells, which adds a little bit of circuitry at the top. So it was designed for flat cells. If you take this all the way apart, you can see there's a spring up here. Probably can't see that all the way in there. But what happened is I wanted to run protected cells, because that's pretty much all I use and all I travel with for my flashlights and things, is they just stuck out too far. So I needed that extra space so that the battery on here could fit and just suck in just a little bit in there. And I'm wondering if maybe that's what happened, if I got a little bit of arcing in here. The battery seems to be working still. Quite unusual. Have to be careful with that. Lithium ions definitely aren't anything to joke around with. So the main reason is I don't ever keep the battery stored in here while I'm traveling. And then, of course, this tail cap doesn't function anymore. So I just have to not thread it all the way in just to make sure the batteries aren't completely in there. So once it's screwed all the way in, I get the light, green light, plug this guy in, and now, as you can see, it is powering the FZ1000. Now, with the standard cells, I would only get 2.5 to 3 hours of time-lapse worth, which, when you break it down to a time-lapse, is really only 2 to 3 seconds. Some of the time-lapses you guys have been seeing with these two, it'll go all night. So especially if I'm doing some astrophotography, I'm really trying to get the stars chasing through the sky like I did at Alfred Desert. When I was down in Antarctica, I got this amazing moon shot as the moon went out over Booth Island. And then, of course, the clouds came in. And then if you waited long enough, the clouds receded and you could see the icebergs moving in the morning. So generally, most of the time, 95% of the time, when I come back in the morning to check on the camera, It's totally covered in frost. It's doing its thing, but it's still clicking away pictures come 6 a.m. once sunlight comes. So very cool. A little expensive, but it's probably the best battery kit I found for the Panasonics anyway. I am going to investigate to see what exactly happened with that Eagle Tack there and probably replace it. And then generally I have a small little case where I keep these separately. So I don't ever travel with this. But my headlamps and things and my chargers, you guys have seen those reviews. I use 18650s for a lot of things. So the fact that I can get a battery pack to extend my camera for time lapse is priceless for me. So that's what I've been using. I'll put a link down below if you guys have a similar camera. You may look up because they may have just another dongle that'll fit your camera that'll use that same battery pack. This has been Beast. Little secret for some time lapse. Get out there and enjoy the outdoors, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the road. Thanks for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the adventure on social media, and we'll see you on the road.